same office, so we're going to be turning off our microphones in between when we're not speaking so that it doesn't um, echo.
Yes.
And Stephanie, can you allow us to share because we're not able to share our PowerPoint at this time?
Yes. Let's see. Does it work now?
Can you share now, Marcella? Yes, thank you.
Okay, great.
Are we able to start presenting then, Stephanie?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay,
Yes.
great. We just wanted to make sure we gave everybody enough time. So, hello, for those of you who didn't hear, both Marcella and I are in the same office space today. So we're going to be turning off our microphones in between each of us talking so you don't get that echo. And unfortunately, Stephanie Santos Gray, who is part of our team, was not able to be with us today. So we're going to share her information on our behalf. But our title is Breaking Down the Language Barriers and Creating a Spanish Language Associate's Degree for Early Childhood Educators. We're going to take you this afternoon on our journey through just the beginning story and then all the way through to where we're at today in our next step. So next slide, Marcella. So just a little bit of an overview and need. So how this came about is we had a group that was interested in supporting the communities in the Lake County area, and specifically our communities that have lower income populations and more diverse needs. And so we had a conversation. It started out simply with a conversation. And some of the demographics around that conversation focused on the fact that Lake County does have a higher than average demand for early childhood educators. 67% of unfilled positions are childcare related. So 67% of positions in Lake County that are going unfulfilled right now are childcare. So we could tell there was really a vast need for that. We also looked at the Illinois workforce hiring survey that was done, which indicates that 56% of early childhood programs were stating that it was very or extremely difficult to find bilingual educators. And the neighborhoods that we are focusing on have high levels of Hispanic populations that are speaking Spanish. There's also the growth in the Preschool for All program, and that those programs now can be the extended day. So again, more opportunities for paraprofessionals within those early childhood programs at our public schools. And then we've also saw that an overall increase in early childhood positions in Lake County was 3.9%. But when it came to ELL and bilingual, it's almost double at 7% increases over the course of a year. We are, if you don't know what a Hispanic serving institution is, Colleges Lake County is a Hispanic serving institution. And that means that defined by federal law, that you have at least 25% or more total undergraduates that are considered Hispanic or Latino when you look at full-time equivalency. Our early childhood program has 39%. So 39% of our students in our early childhood programs are Hispanic. And when we reached out into the community and looked for how we can support filling these 67% of positions in these bilingual, we kept running into a barrier with many of the incumbent workforce that said they really, really wanted to be part of getting their credentials, but unfortunately, they could not successfully pass the college reading and writing readiness requirement. So it was a stopgap for them. They've been in the field many 10, 15, some approaching 20 years, but they couldn't get their credentials based on the fact that they couldn't pass that requirement. And so that got us thinking, and we reached out to INCRA and said, hey, if we offered our program in Spanish, is there any reason they can't get credentials? Because they're doing the same work, they're just doing it in a different language. And we were assured that yes, we can do that. And so with that information, we moved forward in starting to put together a Spanish associate's degree. So next slide, Marcella. So what does that entail? It is not as simple as just picking your classes and, woo, okay, now my classes are in Spanish and I'm done. There's a lot of things that go behind the scenes and a lot of underpinning that we had to do before we launched our very first cohort. The first thing was finding instructors that meet the qualifications. And we just spent the morning talking about that and the grant that is creating an early childhood faculty workforce. So essential because it is very challenging to find early childhood professionals that meet all of the early childhood credentials that are needed to teach higher ed and speaking Spanish fluently. And that's at the level that you can actually teach it. Marcella talked a little bit about that high academic Spanish. And so we needed individuals that can speak at that high academic Spanish level. So that did take us quite a bit of time to find just the right people to support us. And Marcella was our candidate of choice, and we are very excited to have her helping put this together and launch it. And in a little bit, she'll be telling you all of the things that she did. The next caveat is finding the materials in Spanish. Again, it can be challenging. Many of our videos we had to transcribe and translate. Our OER textbooks, we did find about 5 textbooks for our 13 courses. We're still looking, but they are limited on which courses have textbooks in Spanish. And then also our professional organizations, NACCE, 0 to 3, etc., have some work, but again, limited in what is out there at the current moment in the Spanish language. So taking time to find those materials and those supports so that the students are feeling like they're getting the wealth of information. We did rely a lot on the DWS, the Diversity Workforce Modularization. Marcella was part of that. She talked to many of those resources. We also used for our AAS degree, really good videos. And then Marcella took a lot of her personal time to translate quite a bit. In addition to finding the right instructor, getting those materials for the classroom, is a college-wide transformation. So if you're bringing students in that are Spanish speakers, you need the entire college support systems. So we needed to work with registration and getting our applications translated into Spanish. Our financial aid, having individuals in the financial aid office speak Spanish and can walk through those processes. We have career navigators, finding which navigators were fluent in Spanish, so in assigning them to this particular program. We also translated our website, our marketing materials, curriculum map, a lot. And we are still in the process, and it seems like every week we find something else that, oh, that also needs to be translated into the Spanish language. So, it's that continual work in process. And then because we told this story to a foundation called the Schreiber Foundation. They were the ones that wanted to make a difference in the community in Lake County, and they had the conversation with me. And what I told them was, if you want to have strong communities, it first must start with strong early childhood programs so that members of your community have places where their children can go while they're working and they feel that their children are getting high quality care. And we laid out a financial budget for what it would cost for a faculty and then what it would cost for cohort of students. And so after we pitched the presentation, they generously gave us money to fund our faculty, associate faculty, and some other components that Marcella is going to share as resources for our students, and then 3 cohorts of 25 students. So we will have 75 students that are funded through this. And with that, we do need to report to them on a semester basis of where our strengths are and where our struggles are. They are very, very excited that we are presenting this information today. But it is that collaborative effort that we are working with the foundation. Next slide, Marcella. So what is that selection process? Like we said, cohorts are 25 students. Our first interest session that our YWCA navigators helped us get the word out. We had between 80 and 100 individuals interested in that. Many did our DWS pilot, and a few of those did apply for the full AAS process. So we had an online application that they filled out with just their demographics, how long they've been in the field, making a good rubrics. Is that what you're showing, Marcella? There we go. And then in conjunction with that, so this was one of those pages on our website that we did translate completely into Spanish so that they know how to fill out that full application. With that, we also asked them to complete a 300-word essay about what is this program going to do for you? How is this going to make a difference in you as an early childhood educator? Once we got the application and the essays written, we had a team of early childhood professionals and others within our community that spoke Spanish and could go through this. We created a rubric to kind of look at those and narrow that field down to those students that we selected. And then from there, they also had a Zoom interview. The interview was a little bit to talk about our program, to get to know them, as well as what other barriers besides tuition. So we had childcare barriers, we had transportation, we had individuals that needed to get their GED kind of, we had students that were from other countries that had degrees over there, but we were trying to get their transcripts translated for us. So knowing what those other barriers were, then we worked on those individual basis with them. And after a long process, we successfully accepted. We did accept a few more than 25 because we felt there were 27 students that really met all of our criteria. And so we went to the Schreiber Foundation as well as the dean of our department and asked for 27 students, which they both graciously said, absolutely, let's have 27 students join us. And so I'm going to now turn it over to Marcella, who's going to talk a little bit about how we created a support system for the students and how we welcomed them into our first ever Spanish cohort. So I'm going to turn my mic off so Marcela can share with you that information.
Hello, everybody. I'm super excited to get to see you guys. And I know it's a small group, so I just wanted to say hi to Pat because I haven't seen her in forever. Thank you for taking the time. It's in the afternoon, but it's so exciting to know that you want to take part in this and you want to learn more on how to apply this to the program that you're currently in. So one of the things that you have to create is, of course, a support system that's going to help out your students feel like they have all of the necessary tools to be successful. One of the things that we were lucky enough was to hire bilingual program coordinators. And I have a picture here of one of our coordinators, and her name is Lupe. And their job is primarily walk with them, learn who the students are, and help them make the right choices according to whatever needs. So if it comes to advising about classes, they would be the connection. If it would be about transportation needs, they would have that connection. It's really nice to have that one person, take you in a college journey, because sometimes you do have that experience where, you're on your own in college. You kind of feel like you're by yourself. Nobody knows your situation. And that's why we have a lot of dropout rates, right? But with having a coordinator, you have that additional support to go along. And just to give you an idea, I have some pictures of our students. So these are individuals that have experience. They are adult learners. So they have a lot of experience they're bringing from the field, but some of them were just thinking about college was something that would scare them off. So just having that one person that they can connect with, especially if they're speaking the same language, that they greet them with the same language, that, they can actually have a social conversation with them, was very exciting for them. And it kind of takes away a little bit of the stress coming back to college. The other thing that we wanted to create was a place where they felt comfortable, somewhere where they would feel like it was part of the program and they would easily come and relax. If you know people who speak Spanish, they look for places, right, to kind of join and unite in masses. So we decided we wanted to do something like it, and it's an early childhood education lab, learning lab. We call it a learning lab. And when you think about this, you usually think about like, oh, it's a sample classroom. This is how a classroom would look like at a early childhood center. Well, it's kind of like that, but for adults. So as an adult, when you walk into a place and you want to feel comfortable, what is it that you're thinking of? The first thing that comes to my mind is like comfortable sofas and, a nice round table for people to sit and chat. And that's exactly what we have at the Learning Lab. We have a place where students can come, they can finish or complete any assignments, they can come and talk to our coordinators, which are hosted in the same place, or to me, which I'm one of the instructors. And it's a comfortable place to be at. If you want something to drink, we have a place where you can put your, get your coffee and, get something cold to drink. We have everything that you need for you to feel as if you were in a comfortable place other than the classroom. So it has worked out very well. We also have a lot of the supplies that teachers will need at some point throughout their career to share their learning. So it's just a comfortable place to be. And the other thing that we wanted to create was a support system, a community partnership. So we think very strongly about making bonds and making connections with the people who will support our students. What institutions around us can help our students feel like they are being successful? What can they offer that they would be interested in seeing in our students, right? And what can my students offer for them? So just making sure that you have that time to make those community partnerships is very important. Currently, I'm going to highlight one of the ones that we recently have or are having, which is the YWCA, and we're partnering with them to do a symposium specifically on trauma, which is an amazing topic. and in early childhood, of course, which is sometimes not very much offered. But what's really nice about it is that for our students, it's going to be free of charge. And also, all of the symposium is going to be completely bilingual or completely done in Spanish and then translated to English for those that don't speak Spanish. And for those sessions in English, they're going to be translated in Spanish. So it's really nice to make those bonds and have that partnership so that your students are still feeling like they're connected to the community. And I'm going to take you to our first group, and here they are for some of them. Here's a picture of the students that we currently have. We started this January 2023 for the spring semester. And like Diane mentioned, the goal was to have 25 students. And we asked permission for 2 more. And if we could have asked permission for 2 more, we would have added anyway. But because there's just so many people that are interested in the program. So if this is something that you're looking into, definitely it's going to bring you a lot of people over because there's so many people interested. And like we said, we had to go through the selection process because we didn't have enough room to kind of get them all in on the first round. So as part of the program, something special that we wanted to do was a welcome reception on the first day because we want them to feel like, you know, this is a special program, which it is. You know, it's something that hasn't been done in our college, and we wanted for them to feel that support from everybody. And what's important and what I wanted to highlight, and Diane already mentioned, this is a team effort. You know, I could be the professor, but there's so many people behind me that have, you know, thought about this and, you know, a long time ago, and they worked very hard to get this program into place. Some of those people were our administration, our leadership, and they were there. So for them to take the time out of their schedule, you know, to go for a class from 6 to 9 o'clock, you know, to go and tell them, hey, this program is important to us and you guys are important to us and to our institutions and to our community. To them, it was like, wow, they were even coming in like, ooh, why do we have so many people in here? So it kind of make them feel, you know, really special. We also went ahead and purchased for them a lot of things that, you know, you would need on your first day of class. You know, first day of class for kids, you get them new crayons, new scissors, all those cool supplies that we love buying. And some of us don't love that either. But what do you get a college student? What is it? What are some of those things that they're going to need? A backpack. We went ahead and purchased all of them. A backpack, a special t-shirt that they were gonna wear. They actually are wearing it here in some of the pictures that we have on there. And some things that, you know, are gonna make them feel connected to the college. So of course, some regalia, some pens and pencils and notebooks regarding to CLC, our college, just to make them feel like, you know, this is their college, this is who they are, and this is who they're going to be representing for the next, you know, few years that they're going to be with us, right? And of course, we had a little welcome speech from the team, and here I'm going to share a video of that first day of class, and it's a very short video, like 10 seconds. But I just want you to see, you know, the amount of people, and of course, the people that were in the room. Are you guys able to hear the sound by any chance? Let's see. No sound. Okay. I'll fix it in a little bit. It doesn't matter because I want you just to see the people at this time. So it's really short. And I'm gonna stop it right before, I'm gonna play it again. And I'm gonna stop it so you can see all of our leadership present on the day of. And we have our associate dean, and we have our bilingual coordinators, and we have our program manager, and we have the deans from the campus specifically that we are being hosted at, and the dean at the social sciences, business and social sciences division. And of course, our chair, department chair, which is Diane Shale, which, you know, she was talking to you guys in a little while ago. So just to let you know, the support that we're receiving. So if you're thinking of doing something like it, for them to know and get to interact with the administration is very important. It makes them feel very special. So these are some of the backpacks you can see in the background, some of the backpacks that they got the day of. And as we move forward, I will be sharing some of the videos with their testimonials. And I'll pass it over. Am I doing this one, Diane? Okay, so I'm passing it over to Diane. I'm gonna put myself on mute and I'll see you in a little.
So like Marcella said, the importance of getting your administration and leaders throughout the community is really important to make this run smoothly. Using the Schreiber funds and just talking with our leaders, we were able to have every student not only get the backpack and all of those materials, but also all of their textbooks. They are OER materials, so you get the link. But many of our students coming back to school, they wanted that tangible textbook so they can highlight and make notes and all of those things. So we were able to work with our printing department to get binders made so that we could print off their OER materials so they could have those tangibles. All of the students also got laptops that will stay with them through the entire 2-year degree, so they will get to keep those. And then upon graduation, they will get to keep those laptops as their own. So that was another benefit that we worked with our foundation as well as our IT department. And then we had an IT specialist come in that day one and personally meet with each student to set up those computers and really walk with students. Another component with it was Spanish language has tildes and has accents that we do not have in English and is not part of our English keyboards. So moving those over into getting the right software so that when the students are writing their papers and that they do have the accents and the tildes and they're not having to remember all those codes that you can do. But having, again, just another way to embrace and welcome the whole program in. So program, like Marcella said, cohort 1 is, 3.5 weeks done with finishing their first semester. We are having them take 2 courses a semester. And we have it on the same day, so they know every Tuesday and Thursday for the entire 2-year program, they will be coming on Tuesdays and Thursdays. And that's really important for when people are planning their, life balance, and many of them are full-time professionals. So knowing when those programs are, and it's not just, summer now it's a different date, and fall it's now a different date, they know what to expect. So the first cohort was on our Lakeshore campus. It is in downtown Waukegan. It's a beautiful campus, and I would get nothing done because you can go up and look out the window and you have a beautiful view of Lake Michigan in downtown Waukegan. We did have students that was asking about, is there anything going to be on our main campus, which is Grays Lake, you see in the picture here, because they live closer to the Grays Lake campus. Lake County is a very large campus, and some people are driving, 40 to 50 minutes across the county to get to classes. So our second cohort is going to be on the Grays Lake campus, and that will be starting in the fall. So students have begun applying for that. Currently, last we looked, which was last week, we had 67 students applying, and again, with that 25 number. So right now we are going through the essays and selecting the students from the essays and the applications that we want to move forward into the interview process. With our program growing so quickly, when we first started the program, we thought it was going to be cohort 1 in fall of or in spring of 23. second cohort spring of 24, and third cohort in spring of 25. We quickly learned that the need of the students and them wanting to get in this program has mushroomed very, very quickly to the fact where we now have spring cohort started in spring of 23, but we're going to have second cohort already in fall and probably our third cohort in spring of 24. So really moving it down into those 3 semesters. Oh, can you go back one, Marcella? Sorry about that. So with that, right now, Marcella is our only instructor that is teaching in the Spanish language. And so with us growing so quickly, we have found that we do need to start hiring additional adjunct instructors to begin teaching in the fall semester. So if any of you are out there and, want to dip your toe in it, or you know of anybody, please let them know we are looking for adjuncts to be able to teach in the Spanish language. So, and then they will begin in fall of 24 on our Grays Lake campus, and we will be doing that same welcome celebration. They will get those same instructional materials to support their learning. Now we're looking at where our learning lab we have much less open space at Grace Lake. So we're still thinking about how can we make a learning space. And one of our ideas is to change one of our classrooms over to a flexible learning environment with materials right embedded into that classroom environmental space. So we will be working on that. They will get the same T-shirts that say, you can't read them, but they are purple shirts, and they say Early Childhood Education Department in Spanish. We have pens in Spanish, so everything is really geared towards, that full inclusivity. And Marcella always laughs because whenever we talk about something, a new initiative, a new flyer, a new kind of message we want to get out to our students, I always say, who's going to translate it into Spanish? Because now that we have that Spanish cohort, everything in early childhood, any messaging that goes out, we need to make sure that we're being inclusive and messaging it in English and Spanish. So some of our flyers, some of our marketing materials will have English on one side, and then you turn it over in Spanish is on the other side. And so we're very excited. It's growing, and we're, looking to have that third cohort, and then from there even continue on into cohorts 4 and 5. And hopefully this then will just be a pathway for learning at CLC, that students can come in and get their credentials through the Spanish modality. So what does this mean to students? You put all this work and efforts and energy, and we, thought, is this really truly making a difference for our early childhood professionals that Spanish is their primary language and they are taking their coursework in this language? So I'm going to turn it back over to Marcella, who is going to do some testimonials from our first cohort and what it's meaning to them. And she has all different levels of experience, both in and out of the early childhood classroom and experience as a college student. So I'm going to turn my mic off so that Marcella can then share with you what it means to our students that have this opportunity.
Thank you, Diane, for sharing that with us. And I do have some videos that I want to share because I can tell you all about it, but it's not until you hear the students that you kind of put everything together and say, this is the reason why we started this, right? Even with the hard work and everything that needs to be done. And, this is a process. So sometimes, things take a little longer than expected. I do have some pictures of several of my students there working in the classroom or, providing some support in there was a special event with children with Down syndrome that they attended and helped out with the activities there. So they're not only just, learning, they're also applying their skills in as part of the community. And I'm going to share with you the story of Yesid. Yesid started with me in the pilot program, and now he decided he wanted to take part in this program. So I'll let you tell you a little bit more. I do have the translation in English, so let's check out what Yesid has to tell you about this program. Let me just go back and select the translation, which is so nice to be able to have the auto translate. We're gonna set it up to English. Some of the things sometimes will not be correct, but I mean, it's really good compared to having nothing. So here we go.
Mi nombre es Yesid González, soy estudiante para el programa de Early Childhood Education en el College of Lake County. Lo que me ha encantado de este programa es que ha sido en español para los que somos de habla hispana. También el hecho de que nos han facilitado la parte financiera a través de becas. Es un programa que para los que prestamos servicios de cuidado infantil es muy importante, ya que beneficia mucho nuestra práctica. El hecho de refrescar los conocimientos y adquirir nuevos conocimientos es muy importante para un buen desarrollo de nuestros programas y prestar un servicio de mayor calidad. Es por eso que ingresé al CLC y estoy muy agradecido y muy contento con el programa, lo disfruto mucho. Buenas tardes, mi nombre es...
So that's one of our students, and Yesid and his wife own a home daycare. And he wanted to continue his education. He hadn't been able to. When he heard about it, you know, and when he heard that it was through a scholarship, he said, this is my time. So it's nice to have Yesid, not only because he brings so much wealth of knowledge, as you can see, he actually does have a career. He has a bachelor's in administration, business administration from his country, from Colombia. So he brings this other side, you know, anytime that we have discussions, he always brings some added bonus to our conversations. Another one that I wanted to share was a conversation that my students completed. It was actually a project they had to do regarding research and what does research say specifically about education. And I just want to share some of how passionate they are when they are presenting. And this is a very short clip specifically of some of my students presenting to other students and how they're learning in class. But I thought the topic was very interesting. Just to see them presenting to other students, and you know, it's really exciting to see them in action. So I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna put the captions and I'm gonna do the translate into English so you can hear just a little bit. It's a very short clip. And this is Consuelo, Veronica, and Mirza doing the conversation.
Tiene más educación, ayudamos mejor a los niños. Así que como nosotros como mujeres, si nos preparamos, nuestros hijos van a tener más accesibilidad a la educación y un futuro mejor.
Just the fact that she's bringing up, you know, this topic about women, it was very specific. This research had to do with women and how research mentioned that if the mother of the family is educated, the children will have a higher probability of doing well in school. So just the way that she was talking about it, so passionate, just brings me to that reason why we start the program in the first place. And then I'll let you meet Carmen. Carmen is also a business owner. She also has an at-home daycare for many, many years now. And let's hear a little bit about her story and why she decided to take part in our program. And this is our last video that we're going to be looking at, just because we want to leave some time for questions and answers. So let me go ahead and introduce you to Carmen.
Buenas tardes, mi nombre es Carmen Vargas, yo soy estudiante del CLC, estoy estudiando las clases de Early Childhood Education aquí en el colegio de Lake County. Estoy muy orgullosa de haber encontrado este programa y a pesar de muchos tropiezos que he tenido al encontrar esto, porque antes yo quería saber un programa así que fuera en español aquí cerca de donde yo vivo. Siempre he vivido en el área al norte de Chicago y siempre los programas estaban lejos de mi área, se me dificultaba mucho, y cuando encontré este programa pues me dije, desde que lo conocí ya estoy aquí y hasta el final. Y lo bueno de este programa que se nos facilita mucho porque realmente nos han ayudado con todo, con becas, con todo lo necesario para progresar, y nos ha ayudado mucho. Yo trabajo con cuidado infantil, con niños, entonces me ha ayudado mucho lo que he aprendido para seguir en mi trabajo, para mejorar más y para atender más a mis niños. Y otra cosa también que me gusta demasiado es que realmente es en español y todo aquí está a la mano y tenemos excelentes maestros.
And of course, I gave her extra points for saying that because she says that we have really good teachers, right? No, she's a beautiful student, a very hardworking student. And these are only some of the stories that I can share with you guys, but there's so many of them that I wanted to showcase how much they enjoy and they like being with us. And I wanted to leave, and Diana and myself wanted to leave some time for your questions and comments regarding the program that you are thinking of doing or what you started. We wanted to leave the floor open to kind of take those questions at this time. So if you have some questions, comments, whatever, yes, your hand is raised.
Jean,
Hi, Diana, Marcella. Thank you so much for doing this presentation.
you're
I had a
welcome.
few questions because this
Absolutely.
is something I'm interested in pursuing potentially. One, I think you had mentioned you do 2 courses each semester, but it's a 2-year program. How do they get through the AAS in 2 years?
I'm mistaken. It's a 3-year program.
Okay.
Yes, they get level in year 1, they will come out with their level 2. In year 2, they will come out with their level 3. And then many of them are already coming in with their CDA. So they just need 5 additional courses. So that
Okay.
will be done as partway through level 3 would get them their AAS degree. So we laid it out where we they know specifically what courses they're going to take. And then in fall, when they're done in December, we will support them all in filling out the applications and getting their transcripts set to gateways to get their level 2 while they're working on their level 3s. So they will come out with an AAS, and they'll also have the infant toddler level 2 and 3 also embedded into their
okay.
coursework. Mhm.
And then one more question. Thank you for that. Let me write that down, 2 and 3. And then they have to take gen ed courses too for the AAS. So
Yeah.
who teaches those gen ed courses in Spanish at your institution? Do you have someone to teach all of those gen eds in Spanish?
With the English class that they have to take, they are going to take English 121 with a supplement English support class that we offer here for individuals where English is not their primary language. So that will be their English class. We've worked with our speech communications department, and they will be able to take their speech course in Spanish. And then we offer our early childhood math methods, which does count for the math course. And so that math class will be offered in Spanish. So we have worked with other departments in order to get their gen eds required through that. We have not gotten to year 3 yet, but we are going to be working with our psychology department, who will be offering a Spanish class. And then we're also working with our science department to be offering biology, so that they will be able to then get those gen ed requirements that they have to have right along to get their AAS. So when I said, working with all of those other departments, having those conversations, having those collaborative discussions, that helps you to make this a supportive and seamless. It's really a lot behind the scenes, but the students don't see that. They just think, oh, I'm taking my communications class, and I'll be giving my speeches in Spanish, etc.
Okay, thank you so much for that. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. What other questions do you have out there?
Can I ask just a general question?
Sure, Stephanie.
Yeah, so I was working with you to get the students through the prior learning assessment. Did any of the students who did the prior learning assessment modules with immersion kind of transfer into this to continue their education?
I believe several of them did. I'm going to pass that over to Marcella because she was working with our PLA students and our DWS diversity workforce modularization pilot. So she has more accurate information on how many and what they did through that process.
Stephanie, can you ask again your question, please?
Yeah, so the students who completed the Spanish PLA ACE level 2, the modules through immersion, did any of those students who finished those then transferred into your cohorts here?
They did. We actually had Yesid is one of them, Carmen is another one, and Karina is not on there, or Marta. Actually, 4 students continued. So when the video that I showed a while ago that kind of talked about my students before, where I told you that they wanted to continue their education, it was really nice because for them it was kind of like a rollover. It was kind of like, oh, I'm already starting with college. It doesn't feel like anything weird if I just continue. So they were like, this is available. Hey, I want to try it out, which was really nice. It tells you about the 17 students that completed that pilot program. Out of those 17, 4 of them continued with me. The other ones couldn't continue with me because a lot of them lived about an hour and a half ago, and this grant was specifically for people in Lake County. So unfortunately, I couldn't take more students from the other areas. But I will tell you that they were looking back into their communities and looking to see how they could go back into school. So it was really nice to see that motivation. And it was just created with this pilot program.
For clarification on what Marcella said about some of the students not being eligible, we did have individuals apply that live outside of Lake County because this is founded by a foundational grant, and those the foundation really mentioned that they wanted to improve the communities in Lake County. So the monies that they gave were to establish strong communities within Lake County. So the eligibility went 1, if you live in Lake County, your tier eligibility on your application was 1. If you live outside of Lake County, but you work in Lake County, that was tier 2. And then tier 3 was if you live and work outside of Lake County, we would consider you if any spaces were left, which you can see that there's more people that want the program that live in Lake County. We never even got to tier 2 because there was so many people that live in Lake County and their programs are in those areas of need that many of them wanted to be in the program, and we just couldn't accept them at this time. So I know the need is throughout the entire Chicagoland area in all community colleges. So hopefully, if you want to know more, we're happy to even talk behind the scenes as to what we did to move forward with that. Yes, Pat.
Are you doing all face-to-face with these cohorts, or it's all face-to-face, right?
Right now it's face-to-face. One of our requirements, we do have it's called CLC 120. It's for all individuals on student success. We are embedding those components into our early childhood courses, but they might have a little bit of outside work. We thought long and hard about face-to-face or online, but again, like Marcella said, the students value the community. They value seeing each other, working together, collaborating in these environments. and some of the barriers, the transportation and that, we were able to work around so that the students actually are here face to face every week. And I'm going to pass it over to my colleague, Marcella, who can talk to you just a little bit about the benefits she sees of the students in having those face-to-face weekly courses.
I'm excited you brought that up, Pat, because the other day I told my students, I understand what they do because they work with children, right? And it was a special day, it was a holiday, but the college had classes, but the kids, at school didn't. So I knew they were going to be busy because they all have, most of them, 90% of them have at home daycares. And I said, hey, you know what? I understand you guys are going to be tired by 6 o'clock because you're going to have the kids, all of the kids, all day long. I said, you know what? We can take a little break. We're going to do it through Zoom. I said, I'll be here because I'm required to be here in person. I said, but you have the option. You can either show up or you can do it through Zoom and, just do it from home. I said, so you decide. And most of them were like, we want to come to school. And I was like, what? You guys are crazy. I'm like, wait, I'm giving you the choice not to come to school. You should take it. And they're like, no, because this is our time. This is the only time that we have for ourselves. This is like my little break out of the whole day. I get out of the house. I get a snack before I get here. I get to see my colleagues. And I had one person only via Zoom, and that's because she had a baby. And everybody else is coming to class. And I'm like, oh, you guys, all right. I said, let's just have our class. They enjoy seeing each other. They actually have talked about going to Disneyland together. Field trips. They're actually going to a dance class tonight. They're like, Ms. Duran, do you want to come? I'm like, I don't know, maybe I should. They're doing a lot of additional things besides going to school. They're supporting each other. And from the point, we have 27 students. Right now, the only one that I foresee having to leave the class, it's because of a very personal issue. One of her granddaughters, 5 years old, passed away and she could not, she's in that right now. Other than that, they're all helping each other. It's amazing to see how much they support each other. When somebody's out, I already know they're like, oh, Marta se enfermó. She can't come today, but I'll take notes for her. I'll have everything ready. It's so amazing. They make my job so much easier because they're helping each other. I support them, but they feel like they already have that bond between each other. It's really nice to see that.
It's absolutely what we call our courses is community of learners, that we're all learning together. And this is a wonderful establishment. And the cohort model has really strengthened it as opposed to just offering a bunch of Spanish courses that they could take whenever. Having it developed into the cohort model, we felt was really, really important. So I know we have very, very little time, but I wanted to again thank all of you for coming. Please reach out to us if you have any questions, if you want to talk through processes. If you're thinking about, yes, we're starting it with 1 or 2 classes and sharing resources and those types of things. So thank you very much, Beth. We also think that it is wonderful work, and we are so supportive that we are helping create a stronger early childhood program out there by providing this opportunity, and students are embracing it. So thank you very much for coming and listening to our story today, and reach out if you have any questions. We are here to help you walk your path for whichever college you're at, and kind of give you some ins and outs of, what was successes and maybe what were some of our stumbles and things like that to think about or to bring to your administration, and that when you're thinking about this type of opportunity in your area.
Awesome, guys.
Great,
Fabulous.
Jean. I know we had some initial conversations, so look forward to finding some time where we can set up and work together.
Thank you so much. I would appreciate that.
Absolutely. Make a note here so I don't forget. And if I do, just reach back out to me as well.
Thank you
I-
so much.
I think that's the end of our time.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you for
Thank you.
sharing all of your wonderful work at CLC.
Thank you. Thank you. Have a great afternoon, everyone.
Bye.
Bye, thank
Bye.
you.